What is up? What is up? What is up, my beautiful people? It's Henry Wallace at Thrifty Used Cars and Tires, and I'm living the buy here, pay here dream. Today's episode, we're going to talk about repos and employees. When to repo, the process of repo, and I had a lot of questions about repos, so we're going to go over that whole situation with you and how we do it. And then we're going to go over employees. I'm going to flip the camera around. That's what repos look like. It's how you get them back. They're not the same car ever that you sell. You know, you see all the wreck ones? All the wreck ones. Some of these will get rerunning. Some of these we're going to turn into parts cars and use it for parts, because you see that Honda right there? We probably have, I don't know, 100 Hondas on the road. This Corolla right here, I probably got 75 Corollas on the road. You know, cars like that, you can always use the motors and use different things that are part of the car. Let me flip it back around here. You know, my car lot, this is just a car lot again. And something really neat happened this week. I got a call from the Mississippi Independent Auto Dealers Association. It said I was nominated to be a Dealer of the Year, and I'm up for being Dealer of the Year for the Independent Dealer Association in the state of Mississippi, which is freaking awesome. If you look where I started, I don't know, 8 years ago, I was 5 cars, you know, and I evolved to where we're at now. And it took a while to get here, you know. The first year was pretty good. The first 4 months was shaky. You know, that's why I started this channel, is to help people out so it won't be shaky for you. But anyway, that's a pretty big feather in our cap. I hope we win. We'll find out August 15th if we won. And then we get to go represent the state of Mississippi in at the national convention if we do win. But again, this video is going to mostly be about today, employees and repos. All right. And one thing to remember about employees when we get there, as I was told a long time ago, you make employees like partners in your business. If you want to be successful, when you set up their pay structure, you got to make it that where the business is going to thrive when you hire them and they have goals. You know, you can't be cheap. It's another thing, you can't be cheap. My employees, the sales staff, get a very small salary, but then they get paid off of each car they sell. And they make most of their money on the cars they sell. The young girl, one of my salespeople, she worked for me since the first employee I hired. And we're gonna go over when you hire employees. So, like, I didn't hire a single employee until I got 100 accounts on the books. So that was $7,500 a week that I was bringing in on if everybody paid. And so I had enough to pay an employee then. And I brought her on to help me sell the cars, to help do the titling and do different things. And she's been with me since then. She's had a baby. She don't like working as much now. So she works 3 days a week. Now, working her 3 days a week, she makes just as much as she did when she worked 5 days a week for me. Because of the way she's paid, she sells cars. We sell more cars now than we did then. So with her pay being an incentive-wise, she sells 10 cars, she can make $750 that day. Because I pay $75 a sale, I pay them $25 to do the title work on it, and they get $100 a shift. Back in the beginning, what she got paid was $75 a car. She sold $100 for every car you sell cash, $25 to do the title, and then she got $200 a week for working 5 days, and she had to do all the collection calls. So now I have 2 collectors that all they do is spend all day. And we're gonna go over that and how you set it all up. But this is living the buy here, pay here dream, how I do it and how I can help you out. You know, not too bad. You can take advice from somebody that's up to win Independent Dealer of the Year in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, for the state of Mississippi. Pretty awesome, huh? I'll be back with you in a second. So we're back in my office again. So when to hire employees, I didn't hire a salesperson again until I got to 100 accounts. 100 accounts on the books, and you can figure if you know, one thing also is when you get to your first 100 accounts, those first 100 accounts you have, take my word on it, they'll probably be the best paying accounts you ever have, is because you're riding them, you're on them like white on rice. You know, you want to get them to pay so you can pay your bills. And I didn't bring an employee on until I had 100 of them. You know, and again, when you set up employees and you're looking at employees, this is how I kind of base mine off of and what has worked for me. I didn't hire a salesperson until I had 100 accounts. And her pay, we base her pay off of what she sells. She gets $75 a sale if they buy here, pay here. She gets $25 for doing title work, so every sale's worth $100 a day. If she sells it cash, she gets $100 a sale and $25 for doing the title work. Because if I got all my money right now, I'm always happier, so I'm always pushed to get sales and make my employees excited about getting cash sales. We all like cash. And so I didn't hire her. So I didn't hire a second salesperson until after we had 300 accounts on the books. Once we had 300 accounts on the books, I hired another salesperson, and I quit running shifts at that point. Where the way we set up our schedule at first was I worked Monday by myself, no salespeople, nobody else. I worked every Monday by myself, and I sold just as many cars as we sold on Fridays when I worked by myself. Because remember, when you're the owner of the place, nobody should be better at what you do than the person who runs it, and you should set the pace. So I always like to pick with Angela and put on Facebook how many cars we sold. If I sold 10 on a Monday, there's no way she should not sell 12 on a Friday. And I like to make it exciting or make it fun, and we always challenge each other. And then back then we used to rotate Saturdays. I worked every other Saturday, and I worked Monday by myself. She worked. And then the way her pay was first set up was she got $200 a week for working 5 days or 4.5 days, because Saturday was always a half day. And she would print up a list and go through and call the way we do collections here is every person that's past due on an account, they get a call every day. Until we have a promise to pay, they get a call every single day. And back then, when you only have 100 accounts, you can flip the queue. That means you call everybody at least one time, and you go back and you flip it and call them for a second time before you go home, if you're slow in sales especially. And that's the way we work collections. So right now, I have it set up for collections. I have 2 collectors that work every day, Monday through Friday, or they can work Tuesday through Saturday. One's got A through M, and the other one's got N through Z. So A through M is one collector, N through Z is the other collector. And they go through every single person that's past due. They're expected to call them every single day. They're supposed to, and once they enter notes what they did, if they only called and left a message, they write that in the notes so I can go back and look at each person and see how well it's worked. Remember, when it comes to collections, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. The majority of the people that buy cars from you didn't come to you by mistake. They didn't get here by accident. They know you don't run credit. They know you're selling cheaper cars, and they something they could get into. So they're here for a reason. And I also know they're here for a reason. So as a business owner, I know that I need to call them, because the person who calls somebody that has more bills than they have money is the person that gets paid is the one who bothers them the most. You got to follow all your collection laws and go through all that. You can't call after 9 p.m. at night. You can't call before 9 a.m. in the morning. Different things like that. So each collector is in charge of that. And then I get with them every Friday and I see what they want to sign out for repo. And then I sign out for repo the ones that need to be assigned out to be picked up. We don't pick up any car until they miss, until they're 2 payments past due. And we look at a payment as 7 days. So we usually don't pick up a car until they're 14 days past due. That's just how I do it. And other people do it differently. I'm not one that believes in pick up a car 2 days after they're past due. I give them 14 days, and then we pick it up, which is 2 payments for us. You can the way we set up our payment structures on the cars, you either pay every 7 days or you pay every 2 weeks. But the way I look at payment structures is every 7 days is a payment's due. So if you get to be where you're 2 payments past due, 14 days, then you put out for repo with no contact. Now, if you say, hey, somebody calls and says, I'm going to make all 3 payments on the 21st day, then we'll give them, if they've been with me for a while, I usually give them a little slack. If they hadn't been with me for a while, what we do is say, hey, you can drop the car off here then, and then when you make the payment, we'll give you your car back. We won't consider it repo. We charge you no repo fees. Something else we do. As long as I'm holding on to the car, but if it's somebody's first payment and they say they ain't going to be able to make their first payment for 21 days after they made the car, they're going to have to bring the car to me and I'll hold it. And then they can get the car back when they make the payment. That's just me. Now, if somebody has been with me and paid off car too, they get a little more slack because they have built a little more history with me. But when somebody first starts off with me, all you're doing then is giving somebody more opportunity to destroy your car that you don't know from Adam. and we don't play that. You know, we go over payments with them when they sit down and they fill out their paperwork. When you fill out somebody's paperwork is the best time that you talk about collections, you talk about what's expected, how you're going to manage their account, and go over the whole deal. Repossessions, all of it. You go over it all, and you lay it out to them bare by the facts, because you don't want no surprises. You want them to understand what they're signing up for. And the reason that you want a weekly page, you want to get used to them paying, you realize that the reason they're here is because you don't run credit, you know, or they have very little credit or no credit. We understand all those things. We understand the business we're in. So anyway, so I didn't hire my first sales employee until we got 100 accounts. I hired my second one once we got to 250 accounts. I didn't hire my first collector until I had 300 accounts on the books. And I probably should have hired them sooner. I'd probably hire a collector now once I got to 250 accounts. And a collector is the backbone, you know. Selling cars is awesome, and the salespeople are going to push and sell cars, sell cars, sell cars. But if you can't collect on them, then you're just doing this, man. Spinning your wheels, spinning your wheels. And right now, repos are higher than they've ever been. And I'm glad I have two collectors. I got 665 accounts on the books right now. And so two collectors collecting. They each have about 300 accounts. And they're in charge of staying on top of the people, getting promises to pay. Every day, that's what they do. The phone should be ringing. And my phone, if you look at my little VTech phone and the way I have up my phones, I can look and see how many phone calls are made out of my phone every day on my phone system. So that way I know if they're making their phone calls. You know, if that phone ain't lit up and I don't see those lines lit up when I'm here, I want to know what my collectors are doing. They're sitting there, they can sit there with their thumb up their butt. That does me no good. I'm paying money for no reason. And the way I set up collectors is they get $100 a shift just like a salesperson, and they get bonused every quarter off of delinquency and off of write-offs, okay? Delinquencies and write-offs. If you only do it off of delinquency, then they're pushing to repo everybody, and they're not trying to collect payments. You don't want to repo everybody. You would rather everybody pay. I'd rather sell one car every single time, one time. I'd rather everybody pay. I don't sell cars to collect them and go back and get them again and sell them again and sell them again and sell them again. Now, I've sold cars like that. I'm going to keep putting butts in the seat till I get somebody that pays, because that's how I keep my business. I got 4 or 5 mechanics online. I got 2 lot people. I got 2 collectors. I got 3 salespeople. I have an assistant manager. I got a lot of payroll. So I got to keep at least 650, 700. I want to grow that to 1,000 accounts. So 1,000 accounts on the books at $100 a week payments, you know, that's a lot. That's $100,000 a week, you know. I get paid, there's a lot of employees you can pay on $100,000 a week. 60 payments, you know, with 600 people on the books, and if they were all paying $100, you know, you got the 30 or 40% for me. So they either pay 75 or 100, you know, it pays the employees I got. My assistant manager is very good at what he does to make him make the money that he needs to make. He also repos. He has his own repo company. So he makes salary from me, he gets bonuses from me, and then I sign him all my repo work. So that way I know that he's making enough money. He probably makes $200,000 a year between his repo, probably $250,000 a year between the repo company and the salary he makes for me. Maybe more than that now, which is as high as repos have been. So collectors are bonus off of their delinquency and off of write-offs. You don't want high. If you're writing off 20% of the accounts that you have or 30% of the accounts you have, it's a huge amount of write-offs. And so we have a incentive amount that I set up for them. But collectors, all they're doing is calling all day, trying to flip their queue, and then I try to battle against who collects the most money. Who collects most money each day, and I pick on them, you know, because again, everything's about competition, and you want to make it lighthearted, and you want to try to get the best out of your employees, and it's your job as the owner or the driver of the business to motivate them. So I've always been motivated by competition. Like, I'm excited about being up for Dealer of the Year, going against other dealers. You know, I try my hardest to run my business because it's how I support my family. But I also like the awards and things like that, like everybody else. And I like being in competition. I like that I started off as the smallest dealer in town. Now I'm the biggest dealer in town. You know, I sell more cars than anybody in town. I have the biggest inventory in town. You know, and I started as the smallest. So I take a lot of pride in that. So that's how I set up employees and how I do it. My mechanics are all 1099. They're all their own companies. They get paid by the job, and they get some get up $40 an hour, some get $60 an hour, some get $20 an hour. Depends on your experience. Depends on what you do. We have people that change parts. We have people that do body work. We have people that do engine work. We have, you know, different types of mechanics. We rebuild cars. We buy cars at Copart, put them back together, go bring them down to the state troopers, get them a rebuilt title, and that gives us cheaper cars we can sell that are newer, that we can roll people into when they upgrade. But repossessions. So I have people collecting on accounts every day. Every day somebody's passed through, they're getting a call from one of my collectors. Once they're 14 days past due, is when they go out for repo. I assign anything local within 75 miles, goes to my assistant manager, Adam. He's got 2 tow trucks. He's got people that work for him. They go pick up the cars. Boom. Bring them back. They get $350 a repo if they're within 75 miles, unless it's something special, like something that can't be hauled by one of their trucks or one of their tow trucks. They got to snatch trucks. And then you put it on a flatbed, then I have to pay more for that. If it's out of town, it goes up from there. We hire different repo agents. What usually happens when you repo something out of town is they charge you $350 for the repo. They put it on their lot, on their storage facility. After so many days, it starts charging you a storage fee, then you got to pay somebody to go get your car. In Louisiana, which is a different state, and they have different repo laws. So in the state of Mississippi, you also got to find out your repo laws in whatever state you're in. Mississippi and Louisiana have different repo laws. In Louisiana, you have to have they have to sign a form saying that they're turning their car in, or if they're buy here, pay here, you can do you pick it up because it's kind of considered lease to own on buy here, pay here in Louisiana. So you can pick your cars up without the signature if you're doing that, and that's what the majority of my cars are. Because it's considered lease to own. So, but in Louisiana, you have to send them a note before you self-help their car. So after you send them that note, you can't work that account for 2 weeks if you're going to self-help it. And so then when they self-help it, you pick it up, you can sell the car immediately because you gave them a 2-week cooling off period. In Mississippi, you got to hold on to the car for 10 days after you repo it, give them a chance to redeem. So, and the way the redemption process works in Mississippi, you can make them either pay off the whole note, what they owe you in full, plus the repo fees, or they can pay you what they owe, plus the repo fees. So for us, the way our rule works is if you are hiding the vehicle and not where you're supposed to be, if you're not at the address you gave us and you're hiding the car, then you have to pay off the car to get your car back. If you're where you're supposed to be and you're not hiding it, and we go pick it up and you're where you're supposed to be, then you just pay the repo fees, and you can pay what the past due amount is and one payment ahead, and you get your car back. Second time, you got to pay it off. There's no second repo in paying them what you owe. Every time that somebody's repoed, the next time you repo the car, A, it's not going to be in the same shape it was in, and B, they're not the same customer. If they've been repoed once, they know the situation. Usually they hide it on round 2, and we have to find them. It's all part of the deal. And right now, repos are freaking out the box for us. It's the highest I've ever been in the years I've been doing it. We're repoing anywhere between 3 and 4 out of every 10. And coming from the COVID years, we're repoed 2 out of every 10. It makes it tough. So then that's why I have that other facility. I got to store cars for 10 days in the state of Mississippi before I can sell it. So we sold 450 cars the first 4 months of the year. 450 cars the first 4 months of the year. And then we've repoed 150 in the last 2.5 months. So, that's a lot of cars. So, and then you got to there's no repo that, I don't care if the people had the car for a week and it's their first payment. They have done something to the car. It's just the bare facts of the deal. So that's how we do our repos. That's the process. And then we put them out for sale. You go out for sale. They have a lower down payment. Usually the down payment is somewhere around what I have left in the vehicle. Depends on how much is left. And then the price, I figure out the price. And each one's different. Each depends on the shape of the repo. But usually the second time if we have to repo that person, hopefully by then we've made money. But in Louisiana, my repos from Louisiana, that usually isn't the case because the repos are so expensive there. So because of the funny repo laws there, it costs me about $850 to $1,000 every car repo in Louisiana. But since I'm so close where my lot is in Bay St. Louis, that's kind of like 25 miles, 30 miles from the state line. A third, or a little more than a third of my sales is Louisiana. And so I can't not sell cars in Louisiana because I'd cut my sales. And then, you never know who's going to pay. The people that you think are going to pay, don't pay. And the people that you think will never pay you, pay you. So you can't make judgments off of people at all. And you never know. And then in Mississippi, and what else sucks between Mississippi and Louisiana, I'll tell you, is once you pay it, you got to go pay the sales tax in Louisiana. So if I repo that car, I don't get none of that sales tax back. I paid it all. But in the state of Mississippi, I get to apply that. So if I paid all the sales tax and they don't finish paying off the car, when you write off the car, that amount that you have, you get credit to the amount that's left. So you get to take that off the sales tax that you owe for that next period, which is a help. Louisiana, it's not like that. Mississippi, it is like that. So staying up on your repossessions and write-offs and all that kind of stuff is very, very important because you're talking about money and this whole deal. So hopefully that explains repos and how we do it, what collectors do, how we hire them. But the key, remember, folks, is you want your employees to care about what you do and you want your business to thrive. You have to set up an incentive program. You know, salespeople should be based off how many cars they sell. Minimum amount for coming in and working a shift because, you're working your shift. And what do they do in their shift? When they first get here, they don't have anybody set up. They're advertising cars. They're going on Facebook, making posts on their book, posting them all over the place, going and making different things. The key to selling cars is putting your cars in front of people. I advertise on Facebook. I advertise in different ways, but that your employees also do their own thing and do the free stuff. They can join groups. They can list cars, under their name. And that's how we do it. Each salesperson, you want to sell cars. So like during tax time, Angela, who's been with me for a while, she could sell up to 15 cars in a day, 20 cars. Some days we have 2 salespeople on for the same shift because it's tax time. We'll sell 35 cars in one day. We sell usually February, and I'm taking Adam, talking about incentive program, my assistant manager, in the middle of August, we're going to Las Vegas. I told him if he sold 100 cars in February and 100 cars in March, he sold 200 cars, him and his wife, I'd take him to Vegas for a couple of days. So we're all going to Vegas for 4 days in August because they sold 200 cars in February and March. I don't mind paying the money because we did the goal. So 450 cars for the first 4 months of the year, they're helping me make money. I don't mind taking care of my people. And so I'm taking my assistant manager there. We're up for Dealer of the Year. It costs $350 a couple to go to the banquet. I'm taking my longest term employee, Angela, and her husband. I'm taking my assistant manager, him and her husband. I'm taking them out. We get to win. I'm taking me and my wife. So I got $700. I got over $1,000 I'm spending and buying banquet tickets because it's the right thing to do. I didn't do this by myself, My assistant manager has helped drive us. The most cars I sold without an assistant manager was 650. Most cars I've sold with an assistant manager is 700 something. So he makes a difference. I can quantify the difference that he makes, and he pushes just as hard as me, and he does advertising just as hard as me. He's a good guy, and I worry about his pay. So that's why I told him, I said, you buy a repo truck, I'll help you make some more money. I'm like, I'll give you all my repos. So that helps him make more money. That's not directly for me. It's money I'm already would be paying out. So you got to think about things. You want to treat people fairly, and you want to hold on to people. Angela was the first employee I hired. She's still with me. Now mechanics, I've been through a few of them because they steal. It's one rule I have. I'm kind of like I used to work for Outback Steakhouse. I was a managing partner for Bonefish Grill, and there was one rule they had: no rules, just right. I believe in doing whatever you have to take care of the customer. But if you steal from me, you're done. I can't have somebody I don't trust. Just like a relationship. Once the trust is broke, it's done. If my wife cheated on me, I'd be done. If I cheat on my wife, I expect to be done. I would never cheat on my wife. I love my wife. But that's how I look at things. There's some things I'm absolute about, and stealing to me and lying to me. If I ask you directly to your face and you tell me a bold-faced lie, I'll fire you if I find out it's a lie. And I have. But that's how we do employees. That's how we do repos and repossessions. You need to be able to explain. I had somebody we repossessed today. Call me on the phone. Henry, you right? No good mother. I'm like, you're 3 weeks late. This car happened to have a GPS in it. The guy's bought a diesel truck from me that we bulletproofed. That means I spent $4,500 bulletproofing a 6.0 motor. I put the guy in it for $2,500 because he bought 3 cars from me. But he's 4 weeks late on his payment. He's all over the place. He's delivering fifth wheels for a freaking motorhome company all over the United States, and he's not paying me. So we saw that the car was around. We went and scooped up our car. Now it's his first repo. He can pay what he's past due to repo fees. For a big truck like that, we had to put it on a flatbed, so that repo cost me $750. So he's going to pay $750, the $1,000 he's past due on his account, plus a payment ahead, then he can get his car back. But if he gets, we repo him a second time, he'll have to pay off his loan. I think he owes $14,000 on that truck. But anyway, you got to be well prepared to explain to people why you do things and how you do things. When people, I have no problem telling somebody, hey, you're not where you're supposed to be. You're hiding your car from me. You never came in and gave us an updated address, so you got to pay your car off. Nobody else is going to loan you a penny. Nobody else will. I gave you a chance and you screwed it up. It's over. I hate being negative, but that's you got to do what you got to do, and you got to make sure that your employees are doing what they're doing. A collector needs to be calling people. The squeaky wheel gets the freaking payments in collections, gets the oil, and that theory is best for collectors. Collectors need to be on the phone nonstop. You should, every time I walk out my office, both of them should be on the phone. Salespeople should be selling cars all day long, pushing to sell cars, making sure everything looks good, helping make sure the internet's updated, answering all questions for the internet, and they get paid off of the sales. So you make it so that they are part of your business. And that's how I do it. That's what's been successful for me. I'm living the buy here, pay here dream. You should too. It's an awesome business to be in. And wish me luck. I hope we win Deal of the Year. Thank you, my people. Like, subscribe, man. We got to get the likes and subscribe. I'd like to make a couple dollars doing this, I ain't gonna lie. Every dollar helps. So thank you. I hope this is helping. You have any questions, any questions at all, leave them in messages or send me a message. I'll be glad to answer them. If you don't catch me at the dealership, because I'm in and out and I'm at auctions, and I got the other lot I'm at all sometimes, you can leave me, you leave a question on YouTube. I will gladly answer it, man. No problem at all. I don't mind trying to help people. I don't want to see people struggle. I think it's an awesome business, and I think there's a lot of room for a lot of people to make money. That's it. Thank you.